Hey everyone, welcome to Langrisser Mobile. I'm Kong, and I make a bunch of Langrisser content on YouTube, but I mainly focus on these should you summon videos. High-level overviews of the characters available in each gacha banner presented in a systematic way to help you decide whether you should spend your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. Pretty much any character can be good in the right circumstances, so I always try to focus on the objective features of the characters themselves, and then let you decide how those fit into your roster. To that effect, I look at a few key criteria. What's their role in your team, DPS, support, healer, tank, and so on, whether they unlock any other characters' bonds, what kind of content they get used for, and if they show up on any future or recurring banners. I do that for every banner every week, so please consider subscribing and clicking that damn bell icon to make sure you stay up to date on new characters. So let's hop right into the 8 units featured on this beginner boosting banner, OATHSWORN Summon. You'll have access to this banner for 3 weeks after starting your account, but it'll only be available to new accounts created within 45 days of this update going live. That means if you start a new account after January 3rd, 2021, you're missing out on this. If you're watching this video, I assume you're good. This banner is unique in that you get to choose 2 of these 8 characters to wishlist. Your first SSR pull is then guaranteed to be one of those 2 wishlisted characters. The SSR rate is the usual 2%, but it's important to note that new accounts do have an initial guaranteed pity SSR at 40 summons, so you can get one of these powerful characters fairly easily. And of course, this really gives you the ability to dictate how to start building your team, which is nice. Another nice feature of this banner is that you can't get spooked by an off-banner SSR. Any SSR that you summon will be one of these 8 featured characters. Finally, when you pull your third SSR from the beginner banner, if you haven't already gotten both of your wishlisted units, then this third pull will definitely be one of those wishlisted units. The way it's worded though makes it sound like it'll be possible for it to be a duplicate of your first SSR, so you're still not guaranteed to get both wishlisted SSRs right away. Gotcha gonna gotcha after all. Alright, so here are the characters you'll be summoning for. Bozel is a very effective AoE debuffer. It's tempting to try to use him as a magical DPS, but his true strength is blanketing as many debilitating negative effects on as many enemies as possible. He's a faction buffer for Dark Reincarnation, also buffed by Licorice, and he's also a member of Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizzeroff and Sage of the Trees. He unlocks the attack bonds for Ares, Bernhardt, Egbert, and Licorice, and he unlocks the defensive bond for Farakia. For his own bonds, he needs Egbert and Farakia, which are both easily accessible SR characters. In PvE, he's very useful against Leviar in the Eternal Temple and the Ice Dragon. He's essential against Fenrir in Ancient Beckoning. He's still a common meta unit in high-level PvP and Apex Arena. Bozel is on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Liana and Luna. This banner has already run a couple of times, and the next time it shows up is in January 2021. Elwin is a strong self-sustaining DPS. He's also the first character to get a brand new SP class in January, which takes some investment to unlock, but gives him a whole new powerful set of skills. He's a faction buffer for Legion of Glory, also buffed by Ledin and Grenier, and he's also a member of Protagonists, buffed by Matthew, and Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenseal. He unlocks the attack bonds for Lana, Ledin, Leon, and Liana, and the defensive bond for Hein. For his own bonds, he needs Hein and Liana. In PvE, he's very useful against Phoenix, Scylla, and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and he's one of the units famous for being able to carry your team on his back against the Thunder Dragon. He can also be useful against Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning. In PvP, his SP class makes him a strong meta-shaping unit for Apex Arena in Season 6. Elwin is on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Leon and Bernhardt. This banner has already run a couple of times, and the next time it shows up is in early December, so depending on when you're watching this video, you may have already missed that one. If you're feeling lucky and you have the vouchers, then you might not need to wishlist Elwin if you think you can get him on his own banner. For example, you could wishlist Leon instead, and hope to pull Elwin instead of Bernhardt on this Destiny banner. If you did miss that one, Elwin is also coming back on a raid-up banner in January alongside Rosalia, who's a highly mobile Legion of Glory DPS. Lana is a magical DPS with a single target focus thanks to her 3-cost skill, although she also has some good AoE options. Her talent gives her a bit of extra range as well. She's a member of Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bozel and Licorice, and Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna and Shelfaniel. She unlocks the attack bond for the SR character Sonya, and she needs Leon and Elwin for her own bonds. They're both available here, and they both show up on the same recurring Destiny banner together every few months. In PvE, she's excellent against Leviar in the Eternal Temple, and against the Ice Dragon. She's also strong against Fenrir and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning. She's not that common anymore in top-tier PvP, unfortunately. Lana is also on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Rachel and Tiaris. This banner has already run a couple of times, and the next time it shows up is in February 2021. Ledin is a strong defensive tank who can deal a ton of damage on the counterattack if melee units initiate combat against him. He's a faction buffer for Legion of Glory, also buffed by Elwin and Grenier, and he's also a member of Protagonists, buffed by Matthew. He unlocks the attack bonds for 2 SR characters and 1 storyline freebie, Chris, Narm, and Grenier. He needs Chris and Elwin for his own bonds. In PvE, he's great against Phoenix in the Eternal Temple, and he can support a main DPS unit in the fights against a few of the dragons. He's good for general-purpose PvE content. In PvP, he'll be a good option in Apex Arena Season 6 alongside Elwin, but he still doesn't unseat the dominant PvP tanks, Landius, Juglar, and coming soon, Hilda. Ledin is also on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Rachel and Altamuller. This banner has already run a couple of times as well, very recently actually, and the next time it shows up is in April 2021. Leon is an incredibly strong, highly mobile DPS. What makes him really stand out though is his ability to retreat 3 spaces after attacking, every single turn with no cooldown. He's a faction buffer for Empire's Honor, along with Bernhardt, Lance, and Rosenseal, and he's also a member of Strategic Masters, buffed by Altamuller and Lanford. He unlocks the attack bonds for Laird, Roga, and Werner, and the defensive bonds for Bernhardt and Lana. He needs Laird and Elwin for his own bonds. In PvE, he's excellent against Phoenix and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning, and great against pretty much every dragon except the icy one. He's also great for general-purpose content like joint battles and challenges. He's an on-again, off-again meta unit in PvP depending on the rest of your team. Leon is available on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Elwin and Bernhardt. This banner has already run a couple of times, and the next time it shows up is in December, so again, as I mentioned in Elwin's section, depending on when you're watching this video, you may have already missed this one. If not, and you're feeling lucky and you have the vouchers, then you might not need to wishlist Leon if you think you can get him on his own banner. For example, you could wishlist Elwin instead, and then hope to pull Leon instead of Bernhardt on the Destiny banner. Liana is one of the most OP healers in the game, with lots of healing, debuff removal, and extremely useful skills like Act Again and Gospel. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwin, and Grenier, Protagonists, buffed by Matthew, and Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna and Shelfaniel. She unlocks the attack bonds for Elwin, Scott, and young Jessica, and she needs Hein and Elwin for her own bonds. In PvE, she's extremely useful for Leviar, Phoenix, and Scylla in the Eternal Temple, and for Hugin and Munin and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning, as well as the dragons, and pretty much any other PvE content really, thanks to her excellent healing and Act Again allowing you to enable whatever on-faction DPS you're using. She's also one of the rare units who's stayed viable in top-tier PvP since the beginning of the game. Liana is on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Bozel and Luna. This banner has already run a couple of times, and the next time it shows up is in January 2021. Luna is another strong mobile DPS unit, either as a flyer or as a mounted archer. She converts her magic defense to her attack, and she has an aura that makes nearby allies take less magical damage. Her 3-cost skill can give allies a mobility boost. She's a member of Origins of Light, buffed by Dieharte, Jugler, and Freya, Strategic Masters, buffed by Altamüller and Lanford, and she's a faction buffer for Princess Alliance, along with Shelfaniel. She unlocks the attack bond for Lewin and the defensive bond for Claret, and she needs Lewin and Dieharte for her own bonds. In PvE, she's excellent against Leviar, and she can be useful against Phoenix and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple as well. She's also excellent against Jormungandr, Sleipnir, and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning, and against the Dark and Ice Dragons. She's good in general purpose PvE, either as a mobile DPS or even just as a team support or treasure hunter. She's been an on-again, off-again meta unit in high-level PvP as well. Currently, her role mostly seems to be as a durable team support, because it's harder for her to secure kills as a DPS now. Luna is available on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Bozel and Liana. This banner has already run a couple of times, and the next time it shows up is in January 2021. Saving the best for last, Tiaris is an OP healer whose talent gives nearby enemies the ability to recover some health after every single combat engagement. This goes a long way to keeping your tanks alive when facing a multitude of enemies. She also has great team support skills, like the damage-reducing Miracle and the attack-boosting Attack Blessing. She's a member of Origins of Light, buffed by Dieharte, Jugler, and Freya, Protagonists, buffed by Matthew, and Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna and Shelfaniel. She unlocks the attack bond for Dieharte, and the defensive bond for Gerald and Layla, and those are the 2 characters that she needs for her own bonds as well. In PvE, she's good against Phoenix in the Eternal Temple, and excellent against Jormungandr, Hugin and Munin, and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning. She's great in almost any PvE mode, really, because having your team constantly healing back up after combat is bananas. She's not as good as she used to be in PvP, mainly because there's a lot of strong competition for good healers now. Still, if you need someone to plug into one of those healer slots, she does bring Attack Blessing to the table as well, so she is still usable. Tiaris is also available on a recurring catch-up banner alongside Rachel and Lana. And this banner has already run a couple of times as well, and the next time it shows up is in February 2021. So now for my recommendations and some good combos. I'll start by saying that Tiaris is also a good combination with almost anyone. You don't strictly need to have your healer in the same faction as the rest of your team, so no matter what kind of team you're building, taking this game-busting healer along will be a big help. Overall, she's my pick for the number 1 character you should be wishlisting here. For a second choice to go along with Tiaris, Bozel, Elwin, Ledin, Leon, Liana, and Luna are all strong picks in their own way. Bozel is the key to AoE bomb strategies and can weaken clumps of enemies, allowing the rest of your team to have an easier time. Not many other characters play this role. Elwin is a strong DPS, fits many teams, and unlocks some important bonds. But he'll be on 2 more banners in the next 2 months, so he may be easier to get elsewhere. Ledin is a very strong tank. Landius is better unless you're committed to a Legion of Glory team, but Landius isn't on this banner. Vargas is also a very strong free SR tank who doesn't do exactly the same thing as Ledin, but he's there as an alternative if you'd rather wishlist a DPS here. Leon and Luna both bring highly mobile DPS and can definitely be game changers. Liana might seem like a strange pick, a healer to pair with another healer, but the fact is Liana and Tiaris each bring a completely different style of healing and are great for different uses. Still, you might be better off wishlisting one and trying to get the other off her recurring Destiny banner. I don't personally recommend bothering with Lana unless you're playing purely for waifu collection purposes. She's not bad, but she doesn't cover as many essential bases as the rest of these units. If you're brave enough to try your luck getting Tiaris from her Destiny banner instead, then wishlisting Elwin and Liana together can be a strong combination. You'll have Elwin's important attack bond covered, and you'll knock them off their respective Destiny banners, which means you'll have an easier shot at Leon, Bernhardt, Bozel, and Luna later. Liana and Leon also make a strong combination, since you can charge in with Leon, kill an enemy, and run away, then have Liana cast Act again on him, and have him run in and kill someone else and run away again. This is a very common strategy that you can use to clear a safe patch in what would otherwise be a dangerous area of the map. Finally, if you want to focus on pure SSR collection efficiency, it's possible to guarantee yourself another SSR on a couple of those recurring Destiny banners if you take 2 characters from the same banner here. For example, if you pick 2 of Bozel, Liana, and Lana, then the third will be a guaranteed Destiny summon for you the next time that banner rolls around. If you pick Leon and Elwin, you can get a guaranteed Bernhardt. Probably not the best strategy, to be honest. If you pick Lana and Tiaris, then you can get a guaranteed Rachel on her recurring banner. Again, not necessarily the most highly recommended strategy. Finally, if you pick Tiaris and Ledin, which is a combination that a lot of people will recommend because it covers you for a healer and a tank, which are probably the most important roles to start out with. And then if you luck out and summon Rachel on either of those recurring banners, since she's on both for some reason, then you can secure yourself a Destiny guaranteed Ultimuller or Lana. So, the final word. I recommend prioritizing Tiaris. From there, if you want a tank, it has to be Ledin. If you want to play the long game and go with a free tank alternative until you can pull Landius or maybe even Hilda further down the road, then you can opt for a DPS instead, like Leon or Elwin or Luna, or for a utility character like Bozel. This is where your vision and your planning come into play. In my opinion, that's probably the most fun part of this game. So, I hope you found this summary helpful. Let me know in the comments who you ended up deciding to wishlist and what kind of luck you had summoning on this banner. This game has a very friendly and very helpful community. If you're ever confused about anything, or if you're looking for advice, or if you simply have any questions about the game, feel free to look up the communities on Reddit and Discord and Facebook, or even right here in the comments sections of various Langrisser YouTubers. You're sure to find a lot of people who will be more than happy to help you, including me. So thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Happy Langrissing.